My dad was so focused on becoming the perfect father to my stepsister that he accidentally left me at the mall in another state and went back home with her. I thought I was just another casualty of a messy divorce. However, one story my mom posted on Snapchat revealed something I didn't expect. I was 15, standing outside the Westfield Mall in Pennsylvania for 3 hours. Dad and I had driven up with my stepsister Jenny for some back-to-school shopping. He said he'd meet me at the food court at 4 p.m. By 7 p.m., the mall was closing and security was asking if I needed help. I had $8 in my pocket and a dead phone charger. When I finally got my phone working at a Starbucks and called Dad, he answered with traffic noise in the background. I said, "I'm still at the mall. Where are you?" There was this long silence. Then he just said, "Oh shoot," and hung up. I sat on that bench watching families leave together. A mom bought her daughter a pretzel. A dad carried his son on his shoulders, and I'm just sitting there with my shopping bag, feeling like the kid nobody remembered to pick up from practice. My stepmom Lindsay posted an Instagram story an hour later, them at Olive Garden, 200 miles away in our hometown. Jenny was holding up breadsticks. The caption said, "Family dinner vibes." I called my grandma Alina. She answered on the first ring, said she'd be there as soon as possible, and told me to stay inside where it was safe. She picked me up at midnight, drove 4 hours straight, didn't say a word the whole ride, just handed me a sausage egg McMuffin at a rest stop and kept driving. Her hands were gripping that steering wheel so tight. Dad showed up at grandma's house 2 days later. He had this whole speech prepared about how he'd been overwhelmed with blending families and managing everyone's schedules. He said he felt terrible and wanted to make it up to me, offered to take me to Six Flags the next weekend. I looked at him standing on grandma's porch with his apologetic face and told him I needed some space to process everything. He looked relieved, like I'd just let him off easy. That night, scrolling through Snapchat, I saw Mom's story. Just a screenshot, no caption, no explanation. It was a text thread between Dad and someone named Robert Chambers, his lawyer from 3 years ago. The first message was from Dad. "How soon can we file? I want this done before she changes the custody arrangement." I kept reading. My hands started shaking. The key is getting full custody. Her job requires her to travel 15 days a month. Judge Martinez always sides with the stable parent. Should be straightforward. Then another message that made my throat close up. "Once I have full custody, I can access the college fund her grandparents established as her legal guardian. The account shows $47,000. Should cover the down payment plus closing costs." I stared at that screenshot for 20 minutes. The divorce wasn't Mom's idea. Dad had planned the whole thing. He wanted me. Not because he loved me, but because I came with a bank account. The next message destroyed me. "Lindsay found a house she loves. 4 bedrooms, finished basement. The fund should cover it. Once it's done, we tell them it was used for the kids' expenses. Private school, tutoring, whatever. They'll never question it." My stepmom's house, the beautiful 4-bedroom colonial they bought 6 months after the divorce. Paid in cash. Dad said it was from a work bonus. I took screenshots of Mom's story before it disappeared and sent everything to Grandma. She called me 5 minutes later, her voice different than I'd ever heard it. She said, "We're handling this," and to not tell Dad I'd seen anything. Turns out, Grandma and Grandpa had set up that fund when I was born. It wasn't just a college fund. It was an irrevocable trust with specific terms. Using it for anything except my education or welfare was considered that and violated the trust terms. Grandma had been suspicious about the house purchase but didn't have proof until now. Her lawyer filed within a week. Dad tried calling me 47 times that first day. I didn't answer any of them. Lindsay left me a voicemail calling me ungrateful after everything they'd done for me. The settlement took 4 months. Dad had to sell the house to repay the trust. They moved into a 2-bedroom apartment. The $47,000 went back into my account, now locked away until I turn 18 with additional penalties paid by Dad. I moved in with Mom a month ago. She works remotely now, restructured her whole career. We eat breakfast together every morning. She's teaching me to cook. Normal stuff. Dad sent me a birthday card last week. Inside was a $25 Visa gift card and a note that said, "I hope you can forgive me someday." I used it to buy Grandma flowers.